We create shots for each other. Makes us pretty good.
15 to shoot. Acup lobs it for Ewan inside, and Malik throws it down.
Did you see that dunk? I sat down. I don't even know. I think Malik threw him a bad pass, and he got it from behind his head. How did you get that down?
15 to shoot. Richmond jump stop at the foul line inside Brazil. He caught it, threw it down with one hand, all in one motion. Wow. Erickson baseline drive, cut off, kicks it out. Bullock in the paint, shot blocked by Brazil. Thomas out of there with it on a run out, a lob for Richmond, and another throwdown. Showtime for the Razorbacks, 54-36.
I'll be walking the streets of Portland tonight, enjoying this.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, produced by Colton Little, with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft. This is The Morning Rush.
And welcome into a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. After Arkansas defeats High Point 94-88, the only unfortunate thing about today is Tommy's on spring break with the kiddos and his wife, so you got me and Colton for the next 2 hours and the rest of the week. Lewis Automotive Group hotline open for you at 877-377-6963. We're going to have Mark James, who's out of iHeart in Seattle. He's an Arkansas grad who's sitting next to me throughout the tournament. Get a chance to take in Darius Acup, Malik Thomas, Billy Richmond, and whatnot. Great weekend. If you're watching that specific part of the region, you think about High Point's upset of Wisconsin. I know a lot of you are probably frustrated that Texas moved on against Gonzaga. They'll play in the same Sweet 16 that you are out in San Jose. But let's start with the game that we saw in front of us as Arkansas edges High Point. The High Point covers, but the Razorbacks move on. What a game. Darius Acup wows us again. Freshman, 2 games, all-time, leading scorer in the NCAA tournament, and he's not done. He leads the single season now for the Razorbacks all-time and assists, along with the points. Another special outing from Darius Acup. So obviously a good chunk of the basketball conversation is going to be around the game against High Point. We'll get into some other NCAA tournament action and get on to your calls as well. We're brought to you this morning by Mock Legal Solution. Jackie and her team have opened up the courthouse to better serve Sequoia and LaFleur counties in Sallisaw. They handle the family law, car wrecks, slip and falls, dog bite cases, and more. If you're looking for an insurance check or wreck check when you've been wrongfully harmed, call Jackie Mock, Cement Head, and the Mock Legal Solutions team. You go to mocklegalsolutions.com. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. Darius, just too much for High Point in this one on Saturday, Colton.
Yeah, Darius Acup is who we thought he was, and even better than we thought he could possibly be. I think I heard Chuck say it this morning, or it may have been Clay. Somebody said that he's got the scoring of Todd Day and the assists of Lee Mayberry. He's both of those players in one. We're not fortunate enough to ever watch those guys live and in person, only through videotapes, but man, we've got to be so thankful to have a guy like that. Not only that's that talented, but is that clutch. Whenever you need a bucket, whenever there is separation needed, whenever something has to happen positive for the Arkansas Razorbacks, for the team to continue to stay motivated, the team always goes to Darius Acup. He's been a pro since the minute he stepped onto this campus, and it was proven again this past weekend. So just a fantastic win for the Arkansas Razorbacks. I didn't have a single fingernail left after the game. That High Point team was a lot better than their seed. They're a lot better than whatever conference they come from. Their coach was absolutely right. Look, I wouldn't want to schedule them after this season because they're only going to get better. And we heard Cal talk about it in the postgame about the administration. That team probably has the biggest NIL out of anybody in their conference. They're going to be loaded. They're going to be back next year. So shout out to High Point for giving Arkansas a great game, but it feels good to be going back to the Sweet 16 for what? Now the 5th time in the last 6 seasons?
Yeah.
We are very spoiled as a basketball fan base now.
It is. It's pretty wild to see the success of Arkansas in recent years, considering you were 20 years basically dormant, and then now to see that stat you just referred to. Really, Houston and Alabama are the only comparable schools as of late. Arkansas is tied with Alabama for the most NCAA tournament wins since 2021. As much as you dislike Nate Oates, he's a really good coach, especially this time of year, and Alabama's now got a shot to knock down Michigan in 1 seed, just like Arkansas does with Arizona. You mentioned Darius's late game heroics.
Here's Acup dribbling out at the logo. 1:05 to play. Darius left side, going to launch a three, and he knocked it down. Dagger.
and TB's hit a few of them this season. Malik really kept him in that first half. But when it comes down to it, you know what's going to happen at the end of the game. Darius is going to get the ball at the top of the key. A lot of times it has been without a screen. He used a Malik Ewan screen and was able to bang in a deep three to end it on Rob Martin. By the way, that point guard matchup back and forth with him and 5'10 Rob Martin was magnificent. 66 combined points between those two. I think Martin was a senior, played in his last game. He was electric for High Point. And yet Darius at the tail end of the game when they needed him most came through. But that back and forth combo of both point guards was special to watch on Saturday.
Yeah, and I mean, I was getting nervous that this kid was about to have his March moment. One of the things the Razorbacks did really well was they kept Mr. March, Chase Johnston or whatever. He didn't get that many clean looks all night, and about every single time he did make you pay. But the Razorbacks did what they were supposed to do defensively with him, which was pester him. It didn't matter who was guarding him. They were in their grill the entire time. I saw Malik. I saw Billy, DJ whenever he came into the game. They did not let that kid get clean looks. And at the end of the game, he kind of cost them a chance to get back in it. And they live and they die by that kid splashing it from everywhere all across the court. But I was very, very nervous that either him or Rob Martin was going to have one of these March moments, and you were going to be sitting there just absolutely gutted by the fact that you thought you were better than a High Point and you should have won. But hey, we don't have to worry about that. The Razorbacks took care of business. Shorthanded a little bit would just make me nervous going into this matchup against Arizona. But if this team can do anything, it's that they can prove the haters wrong. They have been solid all year when their backs are been against the wall. So I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be a ratings bonanza. I mean, I don't know who's going to get this game. Is it on CBS? You think it's probably going to be? Yeah, it's going to be a big. It's going to be a big-time game. Lots of people are going to be watching. It should be solid.
8:45, Brian Anderson, Jim Jackson, and Allie LaForce will be on the call for CBS Chuck and C courtside starting at 8 o'clock on Thursday night. You're the primetime game. The Purdue and Texas game will be prior to you. And again, 4 SEC teams in the NCAA tournament still, and all on your side of the bracket with the Razorbacks, the Longhorns, the Crimson Tide, and the Vols, who beat Virginia in an upset this weekend. All right, I want to talk more of the NCAA tournament. Have you looked at the lines yet for the upcoming games? We can recap some of them in just a sec.
I saw that Arkansas was like a 9-point dog, which I don't know. I mean, Vegas is pretty smart. Arizona's really good, but you got to figure this Arkansas team is going to make it a little bit closer game than that.
8.5. So some notable lines heading into Thursday and Friday. The Razorbacks 8.5-point dogs. I think the Razorbacks are going to cover. I said this is where the season ends. I hope I'm wrong. Texas is an 8.5-point dog against Purdue. Nebraska is the tight line between them and Iowa. The Corn Bowl 1.5. Illinois is a 3-point dog against Houston. Duke's a 7.5-point favorite against St. John's. Michigan's a 10.5-point favorite against Alabama. Michigan State's a 1.5-point dog against UConn. And then Iowa State is a 4.5-point favorite. All these lines are on the Bet Saracen app. You can always find the best lines, the best odds on the Bet Saracen app. Arkansas's #1 sports betting app is Bet Saracen. Let's get into a recap of what happened this weekend.
Oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God. In and out at the buzzer. Nebraska to the Sweet 16.
This is going to be Darling. He's got to go.
Darling puts it up. It's going to the Sweet 16. For the first time since 1999, will head to the Sweet 16 as they knock off the defending national champ.
This is the opening drive.
So last night, I don't think anyone expected Florida to lose in Tampa, but Iowa comes in clutch, knocks off the defending national champions. Good stat on this, and I forget who put this out there last night. You haven't had a national champion in a while since, I guess, UConn and Florida that have advanced that far. 2007, and then when UConn did it back-to-back. It just rarely happens past the Sweet 16. It doesn't. And I kind of thought Florida would lose to the Elite Eight to Houston. And instead, it was a little bit earlier. And now the Gators are at home, or no, probably on spring break, if I had to guess, staying in Florida, but not going back to Gainesville. Todd Golden continues to tick people off. It's him and Nate Oates battling for the most hated coach. And listen, Cal isn't liked a lot of other places in the Southeast when it comes to basketball schools. But I think those two individuals continue to fight at each other when it comes to which coach is hated the most in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, and you have to separate those two from Coach Cal, because Coach Cal is hated because he wins and because he's really successful and because he,
Well,
you know,
you got a national champion head coach, and Oates has been, what, 2 Final Fours?
Yes. And well, what I'm talking, wouldn't you think Oates wouldn't trade those Final Fours for one ring? I bet he would, to be honest with you. But what I'm trying to say is that Oates and Golden, they're hated for their personality, for who they are, for the way they talk, for the way they handle situations. And they're very successful. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes to be a good coach, people have to absolutely detest you. That's kind of a telltale sign of a good coach. There's people out there that absolutely hate you because you win. But it makes it worse whenever you're a guy like Golden that's a complete crybaby. Hold me back, bro, with his big, you know, massive assistant coaches in front of him while he's talking trash. That guy sucks, to be honest with you. And I'm glad that he lost, and I'm glad that my mother-in-law and then my stepbrother-in-law that are big Florida Gators fans, I hope they cried their eyes out last night, just in tears. But you know what? This is March. Every single one of those upsets screwed my bracket, and it is so hard not to root for chaos when also you have this bracket that you want to stay intact too. But I don't think I picked any one of those upsets correctly, but you have to smile a little bit whenever that does happen, because this is what you've been waiting all year for if you're a college basketball fan. It's to see Kansas come back down from, 10, 12 points and late in the second half, storming back, just to have slick Rick Pitino stand right there, stone-faced as his point guard takes it right there with 3 seconds left over one of the better defenders in all of the Big 12. So that was an incredible finish as well. And then Nebraska, now they've finally got their first tournament win. How about their first Sweet 16 as well? And that kind of makes me feel good too, because Vandy's coach, Mark Byington, was just umbling and grumbling about how they didn't have any advantage when last week they played the SEC championship game in their home city. So some good things and some bad things in terms of my bracket, but a great weekend of basketball. And this is what March Madness is all about. So it was exciting. My bracket was good yesterday morning, and now it's probably somewhere like in the middle for the hitthatline.com rankings. But it was really fun to watch.
It's
Am I
in third. Yeah, you're
That's pretty
in.
good.
Tommy's in second. Zach's in first. Zach's
Yeah.
won it several times. We got to thwart that somehow, some way, but he could end up winning the whole thing again. And speaking of the bracket, I'm glad you brought that up, because if your bracket's busted,
You get a redo.
you can redo. Because
Right.
We're doing the Sweet 16 bracket. Go to hitthatline.com/bracket. We're still giving away prizes. Really appreciate Mach 1 Motorsports, Moix RV, Butler Furniture, Swift Jewelry, and Twin Peaks in Rogers. And they're giving away a motorcycle.
Sweet.
So you got to take advantage of that, plus a bunch of great other prizes. Just go to hitthatline.com/bracket. Go to hitthatline.com/bracket. If your bracket's busted or you just want to check where you are in the pecking order, you can do that at hitthatline.com. And in terms of like where your bracket is and whatnot, it's chalky. If you
Yeah,
pick
it
chalky,
is.
you're in good shape, because there's no mid-majors in the Sweet 16. And you had chances, you had opportunities, like the game that we saw in Portland. High Point was a couple plays away from beating Arkansas, but they didn't. And I know that's been a conversation we can kind of unfold and get into a little bit this morning. But you referred to the stoic Rick Pitino after St. John's was able to move on. I guess that game was in San Diego. And that Darling kid hadn't hit a shot all game.
No.
Like, he was over.
Yeah.
And according to CBS Sports Research, it's the first time that a player's made an NCAA tournament game winner at the Horn with 0 field goals made prior to that moment. So apparently he called we don't have this clip, but Pitino was talking about after the game that Darling called a play for himself and advocated a play for himself. That's
big time.
ballsy, considering you hadn't made a shot, but he made it. And now St. John's gets, who do they play
They're playing
again?
Duke, baby.
So Pitino taking on John Shire and company. Duke has not looked great through these first 2 games. But when you think about like notable players left, there's no Demanza,
Nope.
there's no Peterson.
Nope.
It's Acuff, it's Burries, it's Pete, who you all get in this game Thursday. You got Boozer in that game against St. John's. So a lot of eyes are going to be on this Arizona and Arkansas game when you think about the freshman matchup that's in store for us Thursday night.
Yeah, Ty, and you did mention that it's been pretty chalky for the most part. There is just 3 1 seeds remaining now that Florida lost to Iowa last night, but really your only true Cinderella in this moment is one of the largest public universities with one of the most, with all the most money in the world. It's Texas, which just kind of makes me a little bit, but it is good for the SEC, I guess. They were able to take care of Gonzaga. And then one thing that we haven't mentioned here through 14 and a half minutes of the morning rush, man, that Kentucky hate watch yesterday was beautiful. full. Loved every second of that collapse because they came out hot. And I thought, man, this is Iowa State again. They're not going to be able to do it. They've been successful here recently getting back to the Sweet 16. This Kentucky team is super athletic. Maybe they have it in them. Maybe Mark Pope's a better tournament coach than we give him credit for. No. $22 million buys you the round of 32. Just ridiculous.
And I listened to a little bit of Kentucky sports radio over the weekend.
Oh, I did too.
I wanted to just hear the reaction, and they're furious. I know. I think FanDuel put out that comparison between Cal and Pope, and Cal's got the advantage right now. Think about Kentucky fans seeing Pitino and Cal in the Sweet 16. Two former coaches of Big Blue Nation that have a shot to go to the Elite Eight. I don't know if either of those coaches advance. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I can't see Arkansas getting by Arizona, and I don't see St. John's getting by Duke. But I hope I'm wrong on both accounts because I think that would be a cool thing. I will say this. You mentioned Vanderbilt playing in their home arena. While Arkansas has not played a ton of like elite teams like Arizona, the closest one being Florida, and you got Housed in Gainesville, which Cal's talked about. They do have that road game win recently against Missouri. The SEC Tournament Championship, which was predominantly Vanderbilt fans. Arkansas fans had traveled, but not as much as the hometown Commodores. And this game on Saturday was, while High Point and Arkansas fans were probably split, the majority of that arena was a High Point fan because they wanted to see the upset. So lately, again, you haven't played the caliber of competition you're going to see Thursday night, but you have played in hostile environments. And you're going to have a hostile environment Thursday. Arizona has a lot more alums and a lot more fans that will be in the SAP Center than Arkansas will because of the location, because of the proximity of campuses. That's just, unfortunately, the draw you got. And it's going to be like that for Purdue or Texas, whoever advances, if they move on. What I do like, and I got some heat from this, and maybe you'll agree with it, maybe you don't. This is under the presumption that Arkansas can pull off the upset. I want Texas to win.
Oh yeah,
Thursday against Purdue.
I want that rematch.
And listen, Arkansas played Matt Painter and company. Was it last year or was it this year in the preseason? I can't remember.
That was a couple years.
Yeah,
ago.
Maybe it's a couple. Yeah, I think you're right. He's a really good coach. They're traditionally at kind of hovering around the Sweet 16. But how about Arkansas playing Texas for the right to go to the Final Four?
Yeah, that
would be awesome. And the other element to this Arkansas and Arizona game is both teams haven't been to a Final Four in quite some time. Arizona, you think about how good that program has been, especially under Lute Olson back in the day. They hadn't been to a Final Four since 2001. Sean Miller and company, as good as they were at times, and Tommy Lloyd's done a great job. They've been in the tournament, I think, every year since he's been there. They still haven't been to a Final Four. I think, and you and I both agree on this, it's a Hot Take Monday. This is not a hot take. The winner of Arkansas and Arizona is going to represent that region in the Final Four. Yeah. I don't see Arkansas or Arizona losing to Texas or Purdue on that side. I could be proven wrong, but the winner of this game Thursday night, late prime time, 8:45, woof, if you're watching and listening here, Central Time, is going to represent this region in the Final Four.
See, you say woof right there to the 8:45, and I'm with you. The winner of this one is going to the Final Four. I think Arizona will be able to handle Purdue, and I think they'll be able to handle Texas if they win, and vice versa for Arkansas as well. But Ty, you mentioned that woof about how late it is. Let me tell you something. The Freaks come out at night. And Arkansas is 8-0 this season, 9-0 if you include that preseason exhibition against Memphis in games that start at or after 8 p.m.
Where did you find that stat?
I saw it on the internet, on the interwebs, the wide world of
sports.
Did you
double check
Twitter.
it?
I probably didn't, but to be honest with you, I do know that even if that's not 100% accurate, they do play very, very well at night because the Freaks come out. And you've got some freaks. TB, Billy, those guys are absolute athletic freaks that nobody else in the country can even compare to. I know that Arizona has some great players, but you don't got guys like Billy and TB, or even a guy that comes off the bench like DJ Wagner, who may not be able to give you all these points, but there is nobody quicker downhill with him than when he has the ball in his hands. So that is one thing that I'm holding a little bit of hope in my heart, that my Final Four prediction for this team, knowing they'd have to play Arizona, was they were going to be able to out-athlete them whenever it came down to those final seconds.
All right, so Arkansas was able to get by High Point, in my opinion, based on a key statistics, and that's three-pointers. High Point goes 10 of 38. The Razorbacks go 9 of 16. Arkansas has shown at times this season they can be lethal, thanks to Malik Thomas, who had himself a day. Darius hit that clutch three. TV hit one. Actually, I think he hit two. So if you hit threes against Arizona, you've got a really good chance to win. Where do you think Arizona ranks of 64 basketball teams and 3-point attempts and makes on average this season? Just throw a number out. Where do you think they're at?
I have not watched a second of Arizona basketball, to be honest with you, so I'm going to say somewhere in the middle. So 182.
They're 363rd.
Fantastic. Even better.
So if Arkansas, again, you don't have to shoot 30-plus like High Point did. But if you can make hovering around 50% or maybe above 40, there's going to be a really good chance you're in this game. Billy knocking down one would be awesome. TB if he can knock down two. He was 2 of 4 in this last game. Malik Thomas knocked down 3 in this last game. That would be huge for John Calipari's chances on Thursday night in San Jose. And we are going to be in San Jose.
Let's go. Do you know the way
Excited.
to San Jose?
Yes,
go.
we got a flight. We can talk more about what's going on with TSA and everything else, but really appreciate Foster Roofing, Walk-On Sports Bistro, and also Legacy Dental in Rogers for helping us make our way to San Jose. Our coverage will begin live on Wednesday. We'll give you some practice updates. Make sure you're following us on social media, and we will keep you updated what's going on with the Razorbacks in San Jose, in the SAP Centers. They plan to take on Arizona on Thursday and hopefully either Purdue or Texas on Saturday. Don't know game times for what that Saturday could hold for the Razorbacks or the other team, unfortunately, but that is the setup here in these next couple days. All right, coming up, Hog Update. Baseball team also got a big series win against South Carolina. Yeah. Palmineri resigned, air quotes,
not quite.
Fired, whatever you want to call it. Talk about that, but congratulations to the baseball team that got a win. Got to hear more from John Calipari, his thoughts on his 2 outstanding freshmen, plus some other things from him and some players as Arkansas, again, is moving on.
Man, big dogs, man.
Yes, sir. We advancing.
We advancing. Ain't over yet for the Razorbacks. They're still dancing. The Morning Rush rolls on after this.
It's tournament time, and the road to the Final Four starts now. ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com are bringing you all the madness this March. Our exclusive coverage is brought to you by Foster Roofing. Whether your roof needs repaired or totally replaced, Foster Roofing will make sure you have it all covered. Our coverage is also provided by Walk-Ons. If you're looking for the ultimate watch party, Walk-Ons has you covered with wall-to-wall TVs, scratch-made Louisiana favorites, and a full lineup of craft beers and cocktails. And by Legacy Dental and Rogers, offering preventative care, cosmetic dentistry, restorative treatments, and more. LegacyDentalNWA.com.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
It's March Madness, and few things in life are more important than showing up. Whether you show up for your family, friends, or the big game, it doesn't hurt to bring your favorite beef dish. Together, we bring more. Find your next March Madness crowd pleaser at beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council, courtesy of beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Tom Murphy is brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Hey, Cup hits that dagger 3, man. I let out a suey. I scared every deer and turkey around for a mile.
This is the Morning Rush.
Save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground, priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Rath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to Road Ready Certified and save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. RathAutoFortSmith.com.
Are there still places Taco Bell's crispy chicken nuggets haven't been? Sure. But the inside of a Crunchwrap Slider is no longer one of them. The new Crispy Chicken Crunchwrap Slider. All white meat chicken nuggets where only we could put them. Inside a slider-sized Crunchwrap. And the dipping sauce, it's along for the ride. On the inside. Choose from creamy chipotle or jalapeno honey mustard. The new crispy chicken crunch wrap slider. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Bounce on into Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas for the best deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Whether you're looking for a motorhome, travel trailer, fifth wheel, or toy hauler, we have them all here at Crabtree. So avoid the madness of crowded cities and hotels this summer by taking your family team on the open road with the perfect RV from Crabtree RV Center. Conveniently located at the junction of I-40 and I-49, family owned and operated since 1950. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. You yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful. Not when you work with Tara Limbird and the Limbird Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, or you can use Tara's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust the team that delivers results. Go to LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Dozy Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Dozy Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Enclaves at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. That's $4,000 off and 4.9% financing for up to 84 months on this luxurious third-row SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, or online at harryrobinson.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Gage Wood, no hits him. Allen has a wide open man. It's Childs. He's loose. He scores. Childs, please.
Uncle Tommy loves the Razorbacks.
ARKNSAS.
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush.
Go Hog.
Pounds it down the lane, kicks it in the corner. Fletcher's shot blocked by Brazil into the front row. Fletcher's three-pointer was tattooed over press row, literally into the front row.
And that press row, that block, Colton, happened right in front of us.
Did you catch the ball?
TB, no, I was not able to. There was two moments in that game. So TB blocks that right in front of us, and then Malik Ewan nearly comes crashing into the table. And I'm thinking, all right, Malik's about to truck me, and I'm trying to help him out and everything. But
he's getting back at you for not using your name and affiliation.
Yeah, apparently. I think I did that.
You did.
The rest of the week. Guy was.
Mistake.
It happened 3 times in the last press conference with Cal. It wasn't mine. I did mine, but he was adamant that to give your name and affiliation for people that are watching, I guess, on YouTube or whatever. Razorbacks win by 6. I know some people that bet on the Hogs. Maybe you lost some money, but you're happy nevertheless as Arkansas is advancing to its 5th Sweet 16 in the last 6 years. A happy John Calipari after the game. We're talking about Malik Ewan. Here's what he said about Malik.
The other guy that really helped us was Malik Ewan down the stretch. I mean, he was big down the stretch and getting balls and defending. And
consecutive double-doubles for Malik in the NCAA tournament. No Nick Pringle, listed as questionable in both outings. Didn't play in either contest. I know Isaiah played less than a minute. What was it? Less than a minute in this game against, a minute 3. So you really had a 6-man rotation throughout. And give Ewan credit. He got a little tired, but, I mean, again, you play the amount of minutes that he played. It's understandable. So consecutive double-doubles. He played,
36 minutes.
Yeah, which is the third most on the team. No, it was second.
Second, yeah.
Yeah. I guess Darius. I forgot Darius was out for. Darius was at the scores table. What seemed like for a lifetime.
Yeah, he did sit there for a while.
Because there was no stoppages in play, and I was like, okay, so Darius was like, yeah, second most minutes on the team for a big man. So give credit to Malik for nearly playing all 40 minutes. All right, so you didn't play much size these last 2 games, right? Mm-hmm. Arizona is top 10 in all of college basketball in size, and that's what you're going to have to deal with. Hopefully, Nick's going to be back. We'll get a chance to talk with Cal on Wednesday. We'll see. I doubt we get a for sure 100% update from him. They'll release the NCAA availability report. I think that's at 11 Central, 12 Eastern, if I remember that right, prior to this game against Arizona. And hopefully he's back just for a team that's been really, really good on both ends of the floor. I'm talking about the Wildcats this season.
Yeah, we really just need Nick to come in there and give Malik and TB a breather, just to have an extra body out there, because one of the things he's been doing with DJ Wagner is, DJ's not coming in for any one player. He's coming in because someone needs a break. So they've kind of got a little bit positionless at times, and whenever you have Pringle out there, it's just an extra body that hopefully he's able to get back out there and be fresh, because that's what you need. Malik's been able to, Ewan, like you said, has been able to get these double-doubles in these past 2 games, but down near crunch time at the end of that High Point game and in Hawaii, you can see him kind of not loafing, but definitely taking a little bit of a breather sometimes on defense. And you definitely just want to make sure that those guys have the freshest legs as possible, because I don't think Arizona's going to get you into a run and gun type game. They're going to try and use that size to their advantage down low. So you just want to be able to make sure that you have as much energy as possible. And it's a good thing that they get a little bit of this rest before they go down to San Jose and play the number 1 seeded Arizona Wildcats.
Arizona is a top 5 team offensively and defensively efficiency. Defensive-wise, number 1 team in effective field goal percentage. So from that standpoint, this will be a caliber of team like Florida that you're playing, and it'll be a road atmosphere. Luckily, you played in those lately, and hopefully Arkansas can continue to have success. Baseball-wise, got a series win in Columbia.
Here's Gibbler's 1-2. A pop-up over shortstop. Kojal backing up left field. Ruiz coming on, and Kojal makes the catch. This one belongs to the Razorbacks. A comeback 3-2 win in 10 innings.
Congrats to DBH and company. Paul Maneri, no longer the South Carolina coach. You can call it a firing. You can call it retiring. I don't know. Mutual, whatever. Yeah. Either way, Razorbacks continue to beat South Carolina. Haven't lost to them since 2016. You've got 2 consecutive series win. UCA tomorrow. Florida coming into Baum Walker this weekend.
Yeah, maybe I'm not awake yet, but this is my hot take on this Monday. I'm not sold just because of these past 2 series win. I know it's against Mississippi State and South Carolina, 2 perennial, pretty good programs in the SEC, some of whom have fallen on hard times here recently, obviously with firing Paul Maneri. But look, those are 2 good teams. They're brand names in the SEC, and it's nice to get those wins, one at home and one on the road. But both of those teams threw the game away against you. So you came out Friday night and you just absolutely obliterated them at the plate. You hit 6 or 7 home runs. It was amazing. And you came out the next 2 days flat at the plate. So just want to see a little bit more consistency. I'm not quite sold yet. I haven't really woken up to baseball all the way yet. It is still March Madness. So I'm kind of focused mostly on basketball, but they have got to shore up some things at the plate. Pitching kind of suffered a little bit down there at South Carolina. They're going to be good. They're going to be fine. Not quite sure that they're Omaha level just yet.
All right, that is your Hog Update this morning. If you're traveling out west to California, make sure you take the Hit That Line Now app powered by Taco Bell with you. Now, just a reminder, we will not, want to be clear about this, on the app and on hitthatline.com, we will not have the Razorback basketball games. Westwood One owns those rights, so we cannot play them. We will, of course, have it on these 4 radio stations, ESPN 104.3, Harrison Mountain Home, ESPN 99.5 Northwest Arkansas, ESPN 95.3 in Fort Smith and River Valley, and then 96.3 across Central Arkansas and South Arkansas. So it'll be on for there. But just a reminder, all of our content, though, on the Hit That Line Now app, powered by Taco Bell. When we come back, Morning Rush Daily Question. No Cinderellas in the Sweet 16. Do you care? Does that matter to you as an NCAA tournament consumer? That's next here on A Hot Take Monday.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, where the ultimate challenge is back and 600 vehicles must be sold in March.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
It's March Madness, and few things in life are more important than showing up. Whether you show up for your family, friends, or the big game, it doesn't hurt to bring your favorite beef dish. Together, we bring more. Find your next March Madness crowd pleaser at beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council, courtesy of Beef. It's whatsfordinner.com. Tom Murphy is brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
What you saw is what he beats.
This is the Morning Rush.
Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. How about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I want to ride my bicycle.
Looking for a new ride or need a tune-up? Champion Cycling in Fort Smith has you covered. From top-of-the-line bikes like Specialized and Surly to expert repairs, apparel, and accessories, we've got everything you need to hit the trails. Stop by 5500 Mazard Road during business hours or shop anytime online at championcycling.com. Champion Cycling, helping you share in the joy of cycling.
When our community needs someone to step up, Limbird Real Estate Group steps up. As a presenting sponsor of Champions for Children Giveathon, supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest, Tara Limbird and her team are invested in the families of Northwest Arkansas. And when it comes to selling your home, they step up there too. With over $1 billion sold, a full team of experienced agents, high-octane marketing, and even a cash offer in as little as 72 hours. Limbird delivers results. When it matters most, trust the team that shows up. Go to LimbIrdTeam.com. LIMBIRD team.com.
Looking for a fun way to get your kids outside and learning a new skill? The Ben Garen Youth Golf Academy is teeing off March 24th, open to ages 3 through 16. This exciting program teaches the fundamentals of golf in a fun, encouraging environment for beginners and young players of all skill levels. Spots are limited, so don't wait to get your young golfers signed up. And while you're thinking about golf, Ben Garen Golf Course is still offering 2026 annual memberships. Enjoy a year of great golf at one of the most played golf courses in the River Valley. Call 479-646-5301 or visit Ben Garen Golf Course today to learn more and register.
We have a simple formula at Shelter Insurance. Provide personalized coverage at great rates with local agents to help you choose the coverage you need. And if the unexpected happens, fulfill our promise to be there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call your local shelter agent, Ryan Hughes, in Fort Smith.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this million-plus prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Since 1974, the folks in the River Valley have trusted West Ark Yamaha in Fort Smith for quality and service you just can't find at those big box stores. Now expanding into zero-turn mowers, West Ark Yamaha carries Bobcat, a high-quality commercial mower built to perform, and World Lawn, the best value in zero-turn mowers. Plus, they stock Husqvarna chainsaws and Red Max blowers and trimmers. West Ark Yamaha services what they sell. Right now, get 0% financing on all mowers. West Ark Yamaha, serving Fort Smith since 1974.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Social Morning Rush Daily Question.
All right, you men. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer to the best of your ability.
It's going to be a quick answer to an incredibly terrible, long question.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Check out Nate and Kristen's Place in Lowell online at carpathsocial.com.
No Cinderellas in the Sweet 16. Do you care? 877-377-6963. It's our Carpath Social Morning Rush Daily Question. Hog Wild already given his opinion on this. The days of the Cinderella are over. The top talent, including the overlooked ones, will all eventually end up on Power 5 payrolls. I listened to it. He might have to help me on Utah State's payroll or coach. He said he went from like 800,000 to 2.4 million.
Yeah.
We talked about Kentucky spending 20 plus million for a round of 32 exit against Iowa State. Don't know this for a fact, but it's been reported by multiple outlets that Arkansas spending at least 10 plus million. Cal talked about, I think he said, let me see if I can find that, the commitment.
If you want players to be empowered, they got to know that there's a commitment to the players. We have that at Arkansas.
And I don't know if that he was giving credit to Hunter Yurchek, John Tyson, other big-time boosters that have stepped up. Also giving credit to High Point and their administration, or if that was a shot at Mitch Barnhart, who's on his way out the door at Kentucky. But apparently they have a commitment. Pope just didn't do anything with it based on their season. I know they had injuries and stuff. But do you care, Colton? Do you care that there's no Cinderellas left in the Sweet 16?
No, I don't care because Arkansas is never really going to be a Cinderella, no matter how many. I mean, and that's really what I care about when it comes to March Madness. I mean, yes, it's always great to have those good storylines, but I mean, it almost hurts whenever those Cinderellas get to, the final, the end of the road for them, and they're usually always getting beat in a pretty heartless way sometimes. Most of the time, it's a merciless beatdown. Look, it's a great storyline, and we do love this, but you really want to see that in the round of 64. You really want to see it maybe in the round of 32, but to be honest with you, these look like 16 really solid teams right here in the Sweet 16, and that's what you want when it comes down to tournament time. You want the best teams to be there, and Arkansas has had some favorable draws. There's no question about that. You get Hawaii, who's obviously outmatched, and then High Point pulls off the miracle against Wisconsin. That's great. Those are good storylines for High Point, and they're going to have a lot more money coming into their program now. I think I saw where they had calls for requests for tours for their campus have gone up exponentially since the events have transpired against Wisconsin, and obviously things happen with Chase Johnson pulling up from the logo, but I don't really care, to be honest with you. I know that it's a great story, and I know that people really love those things that happen to March Madness, but we're not going to see any more George Washingtons or FAUs. I think I'm with Hog Wild here. The disparity in which some of these teams are playing with now is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, at the same time, to counterpoint that, Kentucky apparently spent more money than anybody, and they got absolutely housed in a round of 32.
Yeah, now keep in mind, you mentioned FAU. So FAU, Miami, and San Diego State were all in the Final Four together, 2 or 3 years ago?
I think it was 2.
And the NIL was still very much apart. NIL started in 21, so that was a couple years in. So I just don't think it's going to be as numerous. I think, like we're talking about it being chalky, that's what I think. Do I need it? I think you need upsets in the first weekend. Do you have to have it from here on out? I don't necessarily think so because, all right, so let's just look. Let's look at matchups this week. Duke against St. John's. Historic programs. Hall of Fame coach in Rick Pitino. Blue Bloods. Michigan State, UConn.
Yeah.
Blue Bloods. I know Izzo and Co. haven't won one since, 2000, but you think Final Four every 4 or 5 years, Tom Izzo. Iowa, Nebraska. What'd you say earlier?
Not going to be a Busch Light within 100 miles of Houston, Texas. Oh, man.
Yeah. Houston and Illinois, really fun matchup offensively. We'll see if Illinois can score enough against Houston, who's really good defensively. Arizona, fabulous freshman against Arkansas. Fabulous freshman. Texas and Purdue, whatever. I know Purdue's kind of, but Texas is still a huge draw because they're alumni base. Michigan, Alabama, big time. Tennessee, Ohio State. Tennessee's got a good, so you've got Hall of Fame coaches and blue blood matchups all over the place. Could this final Sweet 16 bracket use one Cinderella? Maybe, but that Cinderella was probably going to be High Point.
Yeah.
And you knocked him out. So I'm not feeling too sorry this morning. All right, that is your Cart Pass Social Morning Rush daily question, a place you can continue to watch, not just Thursday night, but the rest of the NCAA tournament is at Cart Pass Social. You can also see what's going on with their Masters Invitational, playing Augusta National. It's always BYOB. And maybe you want to host a March Madness event or watch party for this Thursday. Or if Arkansas was advanced to the Elite Eight, and maybe have a chance at a Final Four, click on the events tab on cartpasssocial.com or give Nate Garehan and Christian Olsen a call at 479-487-3622. It's always BYOB at Cart Pass Social, 122 Grant Place in Lowell, right across from Atwoods. Jesse and Mountain Home texted in this morning, kind of agreeing what I said. I think High Point could have been the true Cinderella. That team being Wisconsin was not a fluke. Huge props to that team.
Yeah, they were good.
And they were. And you think about 30-plus wins. That's what Cal kept talking about leading up to that game and after the game. When you win 30-plus games in a season, despite any conference, you're a good basketball team. And I know it didn't end the way that it wanted to for Miami of Ohio, who got beat pretty good by Tennessee in that round of 64 game. But High Point was every bit a play or two away from beating you on Saturday. And you just happen to have the best point guard in college basketball and a closer that we haven't seen in this sport in quite some time.
And, because of the fact that there is a little bit of parity now with this NIL and sometimes things have been, leveled off here, this is where we get to see who knows their X's and O's. Because if guys are spending an equivalent amount of money and they have a pretty equivalent roster when it comes to how much this guy's worth versus how much this guy's worth, I think this is when you get to see who the real basketball coaches are. And you get to see, hey, look, what can I scheme up to see, how can I get my guy free to make this open jump shot? How can I get these layups in transition? How can I scheme a defense up to stop this team from doing what they want to do? And so we're going to see some guys emerge from mid-major schools like High Point who have a really good, efficient system. I mean, you asked who the Utah State head coach was earlier. It's Jared Calhoun, and he's going to be a super hot name in a couple years. Or, in this next coaching cycle at places like North Carolina and things like that, even though that's not a really big name, not a big enough name for them. But that's a guy that knows basketball and has gotten success out of a place like Utah State where there's not a lot of basketball tradition and also there's not a lot of money there. So we're going to see a lot of these guys eventually make their way up to the big time here in Power 5 conferences playing in this Sweet 16 that really, truly know basketball. And I don't want to knock on Coach Cal. Look, he's great. He's seen every type of defense there is. He's ran every type of offense there is. He's forgotten more about basketball than I will ever know. But let's be honest, he's not relied on his acumen of X's and O's for quite some time. I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but he's always been about the Jimmies and the Joes. So that's just one thing I'm going to keep my eye on as well. Cinderellas are great. You got to have them in the March Madness in those first couple rounds, but after a while, it's going to come down to who has those Jimmies and those Joes.
Jay in Fayetteville doesn't really care. Look at the matchups that we have, both players and coaches. Texas is a good story. Iowa, Nebraska is a good story.
Yeah.
It's been a great tournament thus
really
far.
Has.
Do I wish there was a few more buzzer beaters? Yes. Maybe if the Vanderbilt shot goes down from Tyler Tanner, we're talking about something different.
It's the balls, Ty. The balls are overinflated.
I had one on Saturday night. We just kind of used it as a prop.
You didn't get any shots
I don't know. No, we did not because they took the goals down and everything. I don't know how to judge it. Because I didn't have another basketball. I have to simultaneously hold one and bounce it one next to another. I know that has been a complaint.
You're supposed to hold it out in front of you, and then if it bounces up to waist height, that's pretty much
okay.
That's pretty good. I think that's always been the barometer. But I mean, yeah, and I mean, I had the Nebraska call right there in the opening drive that we heard. But man, that thing was 3/4 of the way down and just right back out.
Popped right out. And this morning on the Morning Rush, we're brought to you by the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Sean and the team have been serving the area for over 40 years. The Fence Man builds custom one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. They also do automatic gates, Need financing? They can do that as well. TheFencemanAR.com, 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work. Text here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 86 points. They have not lost this season when they score more than 85. I think that's wrong, Cody, because they lost to Alabama. I think they've lost one game this season, saying the magic number. So, because they definitely scored over 110. I think that 115 against Alabama. The magic number is the assist, Cody.
Yes.
You're looking for it. So they didn't, what do they end up with assist-wise? 17 or 18 in this game?
18 total.
If they bust 20 assists against Arizona, I'm going to expect them to move on. I mentioned the three-point shooting. Arizona is 363rd in three-pointer attempts and makes throughout this season. They are so good in so many areas, offensively, defensively. They don't shoot a lot of threes, and maybe you can take advantage of that. If Arkansas can be efficient like they were, 9-16 against High Point, that is going to be a massive, massive difference for the Razorbacks if they are able to pull off this upset against Arizona. Now, is it a crazy upset? No. When you look at the lines, Arkansas's what, kind of in the middle, Colton?
Yeah.
When these upcoming Sweet 16 lines, it's not really tight like Nebraska and Iowa, but it's also not double digits like Michigan and Alabama. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. So while it would be an upset if Arkansas was to beat Arizona, I don't think anyone's going to be like, man, I can't believe that happened because of what they've seen from Darius Acup. Yeah. And the other element to all this, so Darius has 36, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got this kid, Malik Thomas, who, by the way, kept him in that first half.
Yes.
Who, by the way, hit 3 triples in his second ever NCAA tournament game. And I don't know if, he's playing second fiddle, but give him credit for what he said about Darius after the game.
And when you're genuinely happy for your teammate, you're genuinely happy for your brother, then, you really get excited and you get enjoyment out of seeing him dominate and do well. So, when he's on, it's yeah, keep doing you. That's how I be feeling while I'm out there.
They have worked together hand in hand really well this season. Yeah. Malik's really good off the ball. He kind of does that pick and roll or pick and pass kind of sort of, whether it's Nick or Malik or TB. He's so good at being off the ball because when you play for John Calipari, and Cal was talking about this earlier this week, he mentioned Jamal Murray. He mentioned Derrick Rose. He mentioned some great point guards he's had. A lot of times he's had a really good shooting guard to pair with that person. Well, that person ain't going to have the ball that much in his hands. So you better know how to play off the ball. Malik Thomas has done a really good job in that facet of his game, Colton.
Yeah, and what does Cal always say? I mean, these two guys could run for president. They don't understand what pressure is. They have otherworldly confidence. They have no idea that they're not supposed to be this good. They have no idea that they're supposed to be missing those shots in pull-up, in crunch time. They have no idea that they're not supposed to be leading their team in steals. They have no idea that they're not supposed to be the ones that are doing all this and carrying their team to these awesome games with names. But they're doing it anyway because they are that good. You just got to sit back and watch and hope that they can be the ones to take care of the Wildcats.
All right, we got hour 2 coming up. We're going to chat with Mark James, who's going to join us on the other side. Mark does radio out in Seattle. Excited to catch up with him. Sitting next to him at the NCAA tournament, and he's an Arkansas grad as well. So he, even though we're supposed to be unbiased as media members, that wasn't necessarily the case watching this team play this weekend. Hey, baseball team got a series win. If you're trying to watch games at Baum Walker Stadium, we got plenty of SEC matchups like the Florida Gators here on deck. If you can't go this weekend, make sure you get your tickets to someone who can. Or if you're looking for tickets, just go to ArkansasRazorbacks.com. That's ArkansasRazorbacks.com. Hot Take Monday rolls on. Hour 2 is next as we get ready for the Sweet 16 game between the Razorbacks and the Wildcats.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
Do you feel that, Arkansas? The Lotto jackpot is now more than $1 million. Why should you care? Because this $1 million+ prize can only be won in Arkansas. There are 2 Lotto drawings every week, and the jackpot keeps growing until there's a winner. Join the fun and play Lotto today. A $2 ticket could change your life. Get yours in stores today. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
It's March Madness, and few things in life are more important than showing up. Whether you show up for your family, friends, or the big game, it doesn't hurt to bring your favorite beef dish. Together, we bring more. Find your next March Madness crowd pleaser at beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council, courtesy of beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Tom Murphy is brought to you by the Arkansas Beef Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40 years, the Fence Man builds custom, one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, and high security. Need automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. Need financing? You got it. 18-month financing is available. Get your free quote today at thefencemanar.com. Or call 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground. Priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Rath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to Road Ready Certified and save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. RathAutoFortSmith.com.
In this part of the country, it's a way of life. You're going about your day without a cloud in the sky. Then suddenly, you find yourself wondering how solid your home really is. With over 30 years of certified experience, let our team give you the same assurance on a stormy night that you feel on a clear afternoon. Before the downpour, before the leaks, call Foster Roofing. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley since 1994.
Bounce on into Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas for the best deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Whether you're looking for a motorhome, travel trailer, fifth wheel, or toy hauler, we have them all here at Crabtree. So avoid the madness of crowded cities and hotels this summer by taking your family team on the open road with the perfect RV from Crabtree RV Center. Conveniently located at the junction of I-40 and I-49, family owned and operated since 1950. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
What's new at the Golf Nut in 2026? A lot. New tailor-made ID4 woods, hybrids, and irons are in stock January 29th. The all-new Ping G440K driver and Ping S259 wedges also arrive January 29th. And coming soon, Callaway Quantum Woods and hybrids February 13th with irons landing February 27th. Step inside our newly remodeled retail space, check out the simulation bays, and experience our new fitting and lesson bay featuring 3 high-speed cameras filming at 120 frames per second. The Golf Nut, where your best game starts.
Winter has arrived, bringing frosty mornings, holiday travels, and unpredictable roads. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we've got you covered. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your vehicle for everything winter has in store. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Hey, it's Phil Elson. James Teague with the Teague Law Firm is back for his 4th season on Halftime Fridays, 12:15. Baseball teams go through tough times, so do families. Teague Law Firm is ready to come out of the bullpen and help with guardianships, adoption, and child support. Sometimes we make the wrong pitch, but luckily, the Teague Law Firm is there. Criminal law such as traffic offenses and DWIs are right up their alley. 479-877-1688 to call James and the Teague Law Firm. Also online at teague-law.com.
He struck him out swinging. Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we'll see mostly sunny skies. It's going to be much cooler with highs ranging through the 60s, a northeast wind at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Increasing clouds tonight with lows in the mid to upper 40s. A cloudy start to your Tuesday, but we'll see increasing sunshine through the day. It'll be warmer with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. I'm Matthew Harding with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
This weather information is brought to you by The Solid Rock, your source for inspirational gifts, home decor, women's boutique items, personalized Bibles, and more.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, you're listening to ESPN 95.3, PRX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
You could drink beer.
The superior light beer for the social athlete.
I mean, they know. We're shorthanded. So what? No one wants to hear that. I didn't see one story about it. I mean, and then when PB went down, I'm like, okay, now I got 5. How many do you really need? 5.
Pounds it down the lane, kicks it in the corner. Fletcher's shot blocked by Brazil into the front row. Fletcher's three-pointer was tattooed over press row, literally into the front row. Anderson down the lane, shot blocked from behind, and Richmond comes out of there with. Here's Acuff dribbling out at the logo. 1:05 to play. Darius left side, gonna launch a 3, and he knocked it down. Dagger.
Man, big dubs, man.
Yes, sir. We advancing.
Round 3.
Coach, for people who are just tuning in and seeing Darius for the first time, what should America know about him?
What you saw is what he beats.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios,
Produced by Colton Little with Ty Richardson. This is the Morning Rush.
No, we're not done yet. We still got more to go.
That's what Darius said after they won the SEC Tournament Championship in Nashville, and he stuck to his word as Arkansas advanced past High Point to make their 5th Sweet 16 in the last 6 years. The Razorbacks will play Arizona this Thursday night at 8:45 Central Time. Chuck and Z will be on your airwaves starting at 8 o'clock that night as we get ready for a matchup we've seen in the postseason before. Hopefully Arkansas can get the edge again. It is hour number 2 of a Hot Take Monday, and we are brought to you this morning by the Good Feet Store. Hey, maybe something's going on with your foot, your leg, or back pain, and you're not alone. Arch supports from the Good Feet Store are designed to alleviate foot, knee, hip, and back pain, plus provide important balance, comfort, and a better life. The Good Feet Store can show you how to turn pain into possibilities with a free fitting. You'll be personally fit by Arch Support, and you can walk around to see how your shoes feel. You decide before you buy. Good Feet Arch Supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book an appointment for a free fitting at goodfeet.com or stop in. Walk-ins are always welcome. Take advantage of this special. Friday, April 3rd and Saturday, April 4th, you're going to receive $100 off an Arch Support system. You can find the Good Feet Store in Fayetteville, across from Walmart on Mall Avenue, and in Rogers, next to Hideaway Pizza, across from Top Golf. Get your active life back at the Good Feet Store. We welcome in Mark James via the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, Seattle iHeart Sports Radio. You can follow him on Twitter at Mark James, MARC James, and on Instagram at Mark James Stock. And Mark, we sat courtside watching this game this weekend. A couple of them. Did Arkansas show you enough where they can take down Arizona this Thursday?
Well, good to be with you, Ty. Yeah, I think they did. And, I mean, if you asked me this a week ago, I probably would have said no, but just recency bias. I don't like what I saw from Arizona last night against Utah State. I think if Utah State obviously had some better players, they could have won that game the same way if Kennesaw State had a shooter. They would have beaten Gonzaga. So, yeah, I think Calipari will make this game very guard-oriented, and he will push Furries and Bradley with Acuff and Malik Thomas, and it's going to be crucial for, obviously we know if Trevor Brazile is hitting from the outside, Arkansas is practically unbeatable, but he wasn't obviously on Saturday night, and he wasn't that great against Hawaii. He was okay against Hawaii, but if he hits his threes like he did in the SEC tournament, there's no reason why Arkansas can't beat Arizona. Obviously, Clevoss and Koa Pete up front are a matchup problem. I expect Nick Pringle to be coming back. That's 5 fouls. You can at least get that. But, I think the Hogs definitely have a shot, and they've just got to, there's no margin for error. Arizona's number one for a reason. I mean, I picked them to win the national championship when the brackets came out. Hope I'm wrong. And we'll see what happens on Thursday night.
By the way, Mark's an Arkansas grad, so like himself, I picked against Arkansas in this game, and I hope I'm wrong by the end of Thursday night. Mark,
right.
What was the biggest story? Like outside of Portland, let's go outside of Oregon for a sec. What was the biggest story from the first weekend? Is it Nebraska and their wins? Was it Florida losing? What did you take away as front and center storyline from the NCAA tournament?
So many interesting storylines, but Kentucky, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. You wanted John Calipari, you complained about him, and I know they had a lot of early tournament exits to St. Peter's and some really bad schools, and you ran him, you made him to the point where he wanted to leave. He didn't get fired. He left on his own. He came to Arkansas, and thankfully, right now, at least the second greatest hire in Arkansas basketball history next to Nolan Richardson. And in about 2 weeks, maybe I'll be saying it's the greatest hire, even better than Nolan Richardson. So Kentucky, that they are North Carolina. I just don't understand, like Duke with Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, and like Roy Williams, who won 3 national championships, Coach K won 5, and they had it in their contract that they could handpick the successor. Duke nailed it. UNC failed it. And Hubert Davis, I mean, come on. I mean, this guy's like the Gerard Mayo, Antonio Pierce of college basketball. He does not belong to be the head coach at North Carolina. If I was Bubba Cunningham, their AD, I'd back up the Brinks truck to Todd Golden and Nate Oates driveways and see which one says yes first. And they're willing. They want to come and take over a blue blood. And Kansas. So Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, 3 blue bloods, all gone before the end of the first weekend. UCLA as well, but UCLA, they got UConn. So I don't really fault them. They closed the season pretty strong. But Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina, I think, and we've seen it. The Hogs, we've beaten Kansas twice in the last 5 NCAA tournaments. Self, it feels like he's sort of like just out there. He's listless. There's no sense of urgency anymore. And he says he's going to consider, and he really needs to look into retirement. But and another thing that also stood out for me is that don't talk about old coaches. John Calipari, 67, Kelvin Sampson, 70, Rick Barnes, 71, Tom Izzo, 71, Rick Pitino, 73 years old, and they're all still dancing in the Sweet 16. So yes, it's great to get a young guy like Todd Golden, a little bit older guy, and Nate Oates. But the Hall of Famers, all of those 5 are Hall of Famers. The Hall of Famers, they're still coaching and they're still going in the Sweet 16 for a reason. So that stood out to me. And I wonder if maybe Cinderella and in the NIL era, we will never see George Mason making a run to the Final Four. Florida Gulf Coast. I don't think we're going to see that anymore. High Point.
Does that bother you?
Listen,
Mark, does that bother you?
I like to see the upset in the first and second round, but I don't want Florida Gulf Coast or High Point or George Mason on a Final Four T-shirt. It looks bad. It's like in 2006 when it was Florida. I want to say UCLA and George Mason, and it was like George Mason got mollywhopped by Joakim Noah and Al Horford and all those guys. And it's like, I don't want them in the Final Four. It's good for the first weekend. And maybe they even make the Sweet 16, but, we all know what happens to Cinderella when the clock strikes midnight. It doesn't bother me. No. I want the brand name once we get to the Elite Eight and Final Four. Like I said, I don't want, Florida Gulf Coast or or George Mason on a Final Four T-shirt. That just it looks bad.
Don't forget the Busch Light Bowl between Nebraska and Iowa. That's going to be a fun Sweet 16 matchup. We're talking with
yeah.
talking with Mark James this morning, Seattle iHeart Sports Radio, U of A grad. You can follow him on Twitter at Mark MARC James. Mark, I would also like to thank not just the Kentucky administration, but the Ohio State administration, which reportedly had a chance to hire Cal, was interested, and they decided to go elsewhere, which is fine. How's your bracket looking?
Bracket? Well, I had Arizona playing Florida in the national championship, so Florida's gone. I have Michigan and Michigan State. So I have 3 Final Four teams still alive. But obviously Florida taking it yesterday to Purdue, so that wasn't good. What was your Final Four bracket?
I've still got mine alive, though I hope, like, I have Arizona win the whole thing like you, and I hope that my bracket gets absolutely destroyed this week. But because I had Houston, I had Michigan, and I had UConn. I think were the ones. I had UConn beating Duke, so I think I had 2 1 seeds and 2 2 seeds that are still alive at this point in time.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, let's hope we're both wrong come Thursday night. Yep.
Mark, let me ask you on Arkansas and Arizona. We do a hot take Monday. I don't think this is a hot take. Is the winner of that game going to the Final Four? Like, I just can't see either of those schools losing to Purdue or Texas. How do you feel about this weekend?
No question. Arkansas wins on Thursday night. They're going to the Final Four. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you could say the same thing for Arizona, but yeah, I think that's the true regional final. And Purdue's tough. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Purdue, but they're always, they win the national championship. They got killed by UConn. I don't see it with Purdue. I just don't. I don't think they have what it takes. They don't have the star power to beat Arizona or Arkansas. You just don't. And I think obviously we'll see that out. And how about one more thing from the weekend. I can't believe I haven't said this name since I've been on the show with you, is that Darius Acuff Jr. He not only breaks Todd Day's single season Arkansas scoring record, the all-time leading scorer in Razorback history, my favorite college basketball player of all time. He's the guy that I look at and I look back at, like, if you YouTube Todd Day, he practically invented trash talking, and he took it to a whole new level. And then on top of it, Darius Acuff, he breaks Kevin Durant's all-time NCAA freshman single-season scoring mark. I mean, that's unbelievable. We are not worthy of the greatness that is Darius Acuff. We are not worthy of him, and I think we'll come out. We looked a little bit bored and disinterested against Hawaii. It was a little bit better against High Point, but I think we're going to see the best version of this team come Thursday night. And if Cal gets to the Elite Eight, it's unbelievable. And look at the roster construction and everything he's put together. Obviously, we're going to have to get better up front and get the guy that we really need for Thursday night. And unfortunately, he exhausted all his eligibility a year ago. Jonas Adu. If we had Jonas Adu, I'd be picking us to win. We need that guy like that. I mean, he stepped up so much in the end of last year, especially against St. John's and Kansas, and he was just phenomenal. But we're going to have to go out and get some big like that in the portal or whatnot. But Cal's already got 3 5-star, Jordan Smith Jr., Torrey, J.J. Andrews, and we might get this guy, Paul Osayuri. He might be coming, so we might have 4 5-stars, and but he's done a great job, man. Cal is, you can tell it's a whole new, it's reinvigorated him. He's turned the clock back to his days at UMass Memphis and his early days at Kentucky. He's rejuvenated, and we're all so lucky for it. But Kentucky, man, wow. I wonder if they miss John Calipari now.
Oh, they do. Not only that, Rick Pitino in the Sweet 16 as well. So Kentucky fans are looking at two former coaches.
Oh, that's right. I know.
Thinking, man, did we mess this up? Mark, last thing before I let you go, man. You brought up again some coaches that are not having success, and Hubert Davis and Pope and just the situation there. One guy that is having success is someone you mentioned in Nate Oates. And I know Golden got bounced, but they just won a national championship, so giving him a little bit of slack. I feel like every year we wonder if Nate Oates is leaving Tuscaloosa, and he's been there for a while. Is this finally the year that a bigger Power 5 or bigger basketball school lures him away from Tuscaloosa?
You know, it's all up to him. I look at Nate Oates' long-term, big picture, and I just see him NBA. And I talked to PJ Carlissimo from ESPN, former NBA coach, former coach who took Seton Hall to the national championship. He lives here in Seattle, and I talked to him about Nate Oates, and Nate Oates has got NBA written all over him. He just has it. He runs the system that is tailor-made for the NBA, and he's produced so many great pros, Brandon Miller, you know, and I just think that, you know, this could be it. I mean, this really could be it for them. I mean, Alabama, do they have the money? Do they want to spend the money on basketball that North Carolina is willing to spend? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, Alabama is still a football school, and North Carolina is a basketball school still. And it's not Indiana, Nebraska, where Indiana is a football school and Nebraska is a basketball school. They've switched roles. It's not like that. So it's up to him if he wants to go blue blood. You know, you're going to be going up against Duke and you know, and Shire, and then of course Will Wade at NC State. But let's face it, ACC is a much easier conference to succeed than the SEC and everything, football and basketball. So if I was Nate Oates, yeah, I mean, depends on the money and how happy he is in Tuscaloosa, but I wouldn't be shocked if he decides to leave T-Town.
All right, Mark, we'll leave it there. Mark James, host in Seattle on iHeartRadio, Arkansas grad. You can follow him on Twitter at MarcJames and on Instagram as Mark James Talk. Mark, appreciate the time, man, and enjoy the rest of the week. I know we got Florida around the corner.
Yeah, are you going to San Jose?
That's the plan. Flying out tomorrow. Fingers crossed there's no TSA issues. I got on 2 standbys yesterday, so hoping to get lucky again.
Oh, wow. Because if everything goes well Thursday, I can't get out there until Saturday. So if everything goes well Thursday, I have to get on a flight Saturday morning. What's going on with TSA right now? What's going on?
It's just everything. I don't want to get into it that much. I've just seen too much of it. Mark, appreciate it, buddy. I'll hopefully see you on Saturday.
All right, man.
All right, that's Mark James again. Does radio. He's an Arkansas grad. Does radio out in Seattle. Colton, I got to the airport. So you got the game on Saturday night, and I get back to the hotel about 12, and go to sleep about 12:30. Wake up at 2:45. Fingers crossed. Get on this standby at 5 a.m. Ended up getting on it. Then got on the next one back to X&A because I was just worried. You see all these TSA videos and everything else. Really didn't. There was frost on the Portland flight, and then there was a 20-minute delay on others, but it really wasn't as bad. But I've seen some videos, hour and a half, 2-hour wait and pre-check and stuff. Ugh, man, for those traveling to out west this weekend, hopefully there's no issues getting out there.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst part about this whole thing is everybody trying to travel to go watch their tournaments, and also for everybody else in Arkansas and lots of other states right now, it's spring break. I mean, folks are trying to get out of this place, out of wherever they are to a vacation spot. So glad you were able to make it back safely. Didn't have to wait too long. Did you have fun in Portland?
Yes.
Did you have a good time?
It was fun.
I
only care
wild,
about
wacky stories from Portland.
Nothing too crazy. Honestly, I kept it between the buoys.
Yeah, there you go.
as they say. But hey, little heads up. Not from a flight standpoint. I did this, and they're not paying me any money. But I know that hotels and everything right now are outrageous. If you're contemplating, you're mulling over the idea of going out west, you feel like, man, is it worth it? I don't know. I use this website called super.com. Save me $300. And again, they're not paying me a dime. But I would, if you are contemplating going out there, or maybe in Indianapolis, if Arkansas does the unthinkable and wins 2 games this weekend on their way to the first Final Four for the first time since '95, that's the best way to go. And I have done Expedia, Hotels.com, all these different ones. That is the one where I always save the most money. Saved us $300. So Tommy can't be complaining about an expense report. By the way, Tommy is on vacation this week for spring break, as you alluded to. But he can't complain about an expense report from this weekend because not only did I save us $300 from the hotel, I'm also shacking up with 3 friends to split the cost 4 ways. So we are going to make the expense report as minimal as humanly possible here this weekend. Hey, maybe I can use that extra money to bet on some stuff with Oaklawn Anywhere. I know that, hey, this week, it's a big week, not only for Arkansas in the NCAA tournament, but it's Derby week. I know people look forward to this each and every year, beginning this Thursday at Oaklawn. And again, Arkansas Derby Day, first race at 11:30 a.m. Doors open at 10 o'clock in Oaklawn. They got people from all over the country that attend this thing. I mean, Dave Portnoy, Sean Payton. I mean, there's various NFL coaches that make their weekends out of Oaklawn during Arkansas Derby Day. It includes infield entertainment, local food trucks, a kid zone, an Arkansas Derby hat contest. Cool. So there is a lot going on this weekend. There's always something going on at Oaklawn. So make sure if you don't have plans this weekend and you don't want to travel outside the U.S., or excuse me, outside of Arkansas, then Oaklawn's a great place. You can watch the games at the Mainline Sports Bar, and you can have a lot of fun at Derby Days this weekend at Oaklawn. Nate and Prairie Grove, I guess the main story being the name and affiliation. Had some struggles earlier in the week, Nate, but we rounded it in a form by the end of the week.
You corrected it, which is good. I thought that was interesting what Mark said right there at the very end about Nate Oates, and we can get into this here in our SEC update in just a little bit, but I had never even considered how much of a pro coach he is, not just from what he does like on the basketball court, actually coaching X's and O's, the way that team has been built, really, really NBA kind of a style, let everybody get theirs, a lot of isolation game, but also just how he has obviously dealt with all this off-court stuff that's come under his tenure now at Alabama. You see that kind of stuff every day in the NBA. Guy gets busted for smoking weed, somebody brings a gun into the locker room, a la Gilbert Arenas. That stuff, that's a regular Tuesday in the NBA. So maybe Nate Oates would like to, not have to deal with so much pressure and scrutiny from an administration like you see at a university and just take it from an owner. That'd be really interesting. But he was also right about all the blue bloods that we see, and that kind of is an underlying storyline here in this NCAA tournament is there is no Kansas anymore. There is no, Kentucky. And so that's really, really hard for a lot of folks to swallow right now as well, especially for those fan bases. And lots of heads are being scratched in those campuses, and they're looking for a place to turn. But you got to be really thankful that, like he also said, the old dog that you have has learned a lot of new tricks, and he is still there, still fighting.
Chaz texting in here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline asking about Nick Pringle. We don't know his availability. We'll get a chance, Chaz, to talk with Cal and ask him that on Wednesday. Don't know if he'll give us a surefire answer yet. The availability report will come out that night, and then there'll be one before the game on Thursday. So I don't have a 100% matter-of-fact answer for you this morning, but that's the best I can do. Hey, before we go, because we got to hit a break, Colton mentioned the SEC update, what's coming up shortly. We got to tell you about the Hustler Pro sales event going on right now at WT Equipment. I know my yard looks awful right now, and it is mowing season. Well, you can save 20% or more on select commercial Hustler mowers, plus even more savings if you're upgrading multiple units at WT Equipment. They have these commercial machines that crews trust every day for productivity, performance, and reliability. These are people that use these all day long. So whether you're using it, again, a landscaping business or you're managing a mowing crew, you can find it all at WT Equipment. This inventory is going to move fast because it's a limited time event. So if you want to upgrade your fleet, now's the time. Go to WT Equipment across Arkansas or visit WTEquip.com and lock in those savings before the season starts. SEC update and more when we return. Hot Take Monday rolls on next.
It's tournament time, and the road to the Final Four starts now. ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com are bringing you all the madness this March. Our exclusive coverage is brought to you by Foster Roofing. Whether your roof needs repaired or totally replaced, Foster Roofing will make sure you have it all covered. Our coverage is also provided by Walk-Ons. If you're looking for the ultimate watch party, Walk-Ons has you covered with wall-to-wall TVs, scratch-made Louisiana favorites, and a full lineup of craft beers and cocktails. And by Legacy Dental and Rogers, offering preventative care, cosmetic dentistry, restorative treatments, and more. LegacyDentalNWA.com.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text AREA to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text AREA to 42424. That's AREA to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Darius left side, going to launch a three, and he knocked it down. Dagger.
This is the Morning Rush.
Save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. We've been hard at work getting ready for warmer weather, and we've put our best roster of road-ready certified pre-owned cars on the ground. Priced to move and backed by a comprehensive warranty. With our non-commissioned sales team, painless pricing playbook, and the nation's best lenders, Rath's got the River Valley's deepest bench ready to take all the hassle out of getting your next ride. Don't settle for just any used car. Make the switch to Road Ready Certified and save some green this spring at Rath Auto Resources. Voted best pre-owned cars in the River Valley. 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith. RathAutoFortSmith.com.
Valley Family Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment, or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Fort Smith, get ready to fondue it at TGI Fridays. We're turning up the flavor with our all-new Fondue It menu. For just $3, you can upgrade your favorite Fridays classic with a warm tableside cheese pour served on a sizzling cast iron skillet. Picture this: loaded potato skins, a crispy chicken sandwich, the bacon cheeseburger, or the bold big queso energy burger, all finished with rich poblano queso fondue. Or go next level with our truffle mushroom burger, topped with smooth Alfredo fondue. TGI Fridays, Fort Smith. And here, it's always Friday.
Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Jelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Is your bracket busted? Don't worry. You can still redeem yourself in the ESPN Arkansas and Mach 1 Motorsports Bracket Challenge Motorcycle Madness giveaway by filling out a Sweet 16 bracket. Go to hitthatline.com/bracket. Our bracket challenge would not be possible without our presenting sponsors: Moix RV of Arkansas, Butler Furniture, Swift Jewelry, and Twin Peaks and Rogers. We'd also like to thank our participating sponsors: Brick Garage Doors, The Right Autoplex, Shelter Insurance Agent Chris Dooley, Century Bank of the Ozarks, Hirsch Feed and Farm Supply, and West Ark Yamaha.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The SEC is the best conference in America.
The tough will survive in this game, and I feel like the SEC is the toughest.
Arkansas is the SEC champion.
You know, every game is a dogfight.
We're about the tough there is. Week in and week out, you're going to play some of the best, the biggest, the fastest. The Hogs have finally held the first SEC tournament championship for Arkansas.
Where opponents' dreams come to die.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
And here we go. 8.9 to play. Sturts with the catch. Sturts bounce pass to the corner. Bulgaris for three. Oh! Florida's got no timeouts. Iowa takes the lead by one. Condon will inbound it to Lee. Lee across midcourt. Lee speeding toward the basket. Lee leaves it underneath. Iowa, for the first time since 1999, will head to the Sweet 16 as they knock off the defending national champ.
You know, one of the questions Florida had heading into this season was their guard play with Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee. And in that game, and in some crucial moments, Boogie let his guy go by him and lead to that game-winning assist. He had a late turnover, and Florida ends up following in the round of 32 to Iowa in Tampa. In Tampa, they lose. And now you're sitting here, if you're Todd Golden, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're blaming the refs for not throwing out the guy that hit the game winner. And we're just reveling in the happiness that is watching the Florida Gators lose last night in a game no one expected whatsoever. If there is a perfect bracket out there, I want to see it because I don't believe it.
Yeah. Look, you're not going to make me mad at all by watching Todd Golden lose. Like I said, he is just the sniveling little fusspot, and everything that he can find to make himself look like an absolute jerk, he absolutely does. Great coach, and I know that Florida will probably be back, but you mentioned it right there. Fland and Xavier Lee, they are nowhere near the same caliber they had last year with Clayton and Richard. Those two guys are just probably one of one that they needed right there for Florida at that time, and it really just goes to show that no matter how tall or big you are, you have to have guards that can get him the ball and also defend in late moments. I'm not really complaining about that, but the SEC overall has done pretty well, fairly well this tournament. They got four teams now in the Sweet 16. Texas taking care of Gonzaga. I don't think I would have ever picked that one, but they were able to really kind of bully Gonzaga down there, and that's been Texas's calling card all season long, and chalk it up to another tournament failure for Gonzaga and Mark Few. So Tennessee also getting the best of Virginia. That's a team that I'd probably be looking out for to, maybe continue on because they've looked really, really good at these first couple games here in the tournament. And also if they, get to match up with Michigan, who I think is going to end up beating Alabama, I think Tennessee can compete with Michigan. They got a lot of similar size. So Tennessee, Alabama, obviously Texas, and now Arkansas, the only four teams left in the SEC now in the Sweet 16, all on the same side of the bracket, like you said.
And that's where I was going to go next. You can only have one national champion representative based on the setup of the bracket. You can only have two teams in the Final Four based on the setup of the bracket. With the Razorbacks, the Longhorns, the Crimson Tide, and the Vols, who has the best chance of those four to make the Final Four? And again, they could eliminate each other on the way there because where it is on the bracket, the two teams, you could see an all SEC Elite Eight on one side of the bracket if Arkansas and Texas were to advance and Alabama and Tennessee were to advance. I don't think that's going to happen, but who has the best chance of that? Is it Texas? Is it against Purdue? Is it Arkansas against Arizona? Is it Michigan against Alabama? Is it Tennessee against Iowa State? And obviously they would have to win the following game after that, but what do you think?
I think my head obviously is going to say Tennessee against Iowa State. Tennessee has a lot of size. They've been playing really, really well here recently. But my heart just wants to say that Arkansas. There is just, I've seen it time and time again. Darius Acuff and this team have just risen to the occasion. No matter the score of the game in front of them, they've always just kind of found a way to win. Especially now in the month of March, they've been really, really nails. So My head says Tennessee, but my heart wants to say that Arkansas is going to go ahead and take care of business against Arizona in San Jose. And if that's the case, I'm not going to complain at all. But it would be very, very interesting to see an all SEC Elite Eight on that side of the bracket. But I really think that, honestly, Tennessee is going to be able to take advantage of Iowa State. They played very well yesterday against a really, really bad Kentucky team that looked like they were just completely disinterested after
And
that
Jefferson
first half.
didn't play, right?
No, they're missing their best player, who I don't know if he's going to be able to come back or not, so that also bodes well for the Volunteers.
And that's why you mentioned their size. I think Tennessee has the best bet, not because I think they're the best team out of Arkansas, Alabama, and Texas, but their size and what they could do against Michigan, and they're playing Iowa State, potentially their best player down. Yeah. That's why I would say Tennessee in this situation. Even though Rick Barnes has never made it past an Elite Eight, that's what happened. Andy Mountain Home cites that. He thinks that they'll lose because of regular season, Rick. Well,
I don't want to discredit Alabama either, because I did not pick them to win against Texas Tech either. I thought Texas Tech was going to be able to bully them like Texas Tech has basically done to almost every team that they've won against all season. But Alabama also missing their second leading scorer in Aiden Holloway, who's caught up in a big mess right now, obviously. So I thought that was going to not be good for Crimson Tide, but they came out there and put the whooping on Texas Tech last night. So that could be them as well if they can go out there and shoot really well against Michigan.
Spank likes how you called Todd Golden a sniveling little fusspot.
That's what he is, man. He just, every single thing, it's always, oh, yeah. You heard him cussing at the refs.
I'm not a big fan of looking at a coach and the other team and MFing him.
Yeah, I mean, that's so stupid. It's childish. And look, Todd Golden is a good coach. He had a lot of success at the University of San Francisco. He's there now at Florida. He won a national championship last year. He's recruited guys, and I think I heard him in a press conference earlier this week talk about how it's really just about getting these bigs and getting them and then finding pieces around them. And he might have to change some things now. But look, like you said, there is a reverence that you see these coaches have. I talked about Rick Pitino earlier. Whenever Kansas was coming down, they had fought all the way back, and Pitino watches his player hit that shot, zero emotion. None. And to me, that's always the more prudent approach, is to have a little bit of class. Act like you've been there before. Act like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Act like you have a little bit of respect for the other players on the other team that are putting in just as much work. So I don't care if Todd Golden loses every game for the rest of his career. He deserves it. He deserves it for being a sniveling little fusspot.
Okay. Let's see. Houston knocked off A&M pretty easily, 88-57.
Thanks, Bucky.
We mentioned Kentucky falling to Iowa State. What else stood out this weekend? No, I mean, Texas upsetting Gonzaga was a pretty big deal. And said this earlier, and I might get some pushback, but wouldn't hate seeing Texas upsetting Gonzaga this weekend if Arkansas was to win as well.
And Purdue's built their whole entire team. You said it earlier, Ty. Not a lot of star. I think Mark said it earlier too. Not a lot of star power on that Purdue team. They do have Braden Smith, an Arkansas native guy who was born in Russellville, now the NCAA all-time assist leader, I do believe. And that kid is really, really good. But Purdue likes to take advantage of their size and put it down low. So does Texas. And that Vocatitis kid, I think that's his name, he's pretty solid too. So I'd expect that to be a pretty low-scoring game, and maybe Texas can come out on top too. So all the SEC teams this weekend, I mean, they have a chance.
All right, that is your SEC update this morning. And I know there's a lot of fun going on during March Madness. There's plenty of beers and various other things being drank. Well, if you're planning on doing that this weekend, make sure that you have a designated driver. Or if you're the designated driver, make sure to take that role seriously. Don't consume alcohol, not even one drink. Don't depend on just getting away with it. Oh, the roads aren't going to be crowded, whatever. You don't want to be in that situation. Please remember, drive sober or get pulled over. This message comes from the Arkansas Highway Safety Office. Again, drive sober or get pulled over. Lyft and Uber exist. You can always take advantage of them. Kevin's in Rogers this morning here on this Hot Take Monday. Kevin, fire away. What we got?
Hey, Ty, how are you guys doing? Good to hear from you. Great job covering everything, Ty, down in Portland or over in Portland.
Hey, when the team win, it makes it easy, man. I didn't do any of the hard work. The team did all the hard work.
It was great. Little spooky there moments at times, but Colton's right about Todd Golden. I 100% agree with him there. That's not why I called. I just have a couple of things. First of all, I want to give a shout out to High Point University.
Yeah.
What they've done with that basketball program. And you know me, you've talked to me a lot, and I seem to know what I'm talking about most time. I believe that team that he assembled athletically, the way they shoot, how hard they play, I'm not so sure that specific team if you put a different name on them, but they're not a middle of the pack team in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, they were that talented. And, you know, one of their leading scorer got 2 fouls early, and, you know, he was doing what he wanted. So I give a shout out to them. That was a good basketball game to watch. Defense wasn't great on either side, but we made enough plays. Billy Richmond was great. Regarding and I want y'all to comment on that, how you think that they put their team together.
Mm-hmm.
Also, regarding Arizona, it's no secret what we have to do here. I believe Arizona, when they get in trouble, like they did last night, I mean, there was opportunities for Utah State to tie that game on multiple possessions.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 3 straight steals and got zip out of it. I watched the whole game. We were scouting it, checking it out.
Let's go.
But when they get in trouble, it is offensive rebounding and it's defensive rebounding. But Jaden Bradley, we all know about him. 5-star guy, great. He was good at Alabama. He gets them out of trouble. So that will be a key. But the big key is just 2 keys. We just need to hold our own on the boards. I'm not saying we have to win the rebounding battle, but if we stay within 5 to 6 rebounds over all of them, we're going to win that basketball game. And if we stay out of foul trouble, that's the 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
Because our guard play and our forward play is great. I truly believe that. Now, am I going to pick Arkansas to win that game? I'm not going to pick Arkansas to win that game. Because I still have the fear of inconsistency down low. Because even though Ewing's playing better and everything, I mean, you're talking about a game where, and everybody needs to really think about this. You've got 3 or 4 NBA players that are playing in that game that are for sure NBA players. Mm-hmm. There's other people in that game that are possibly going to be NBA players. It's pretty impressive. I mean, so it should be a fun game. But, I mean, that's the 2 keys to me. Foul trouble and rebounding, because we don't turn the ball over a lot. We shoot the ball well enough. I don't know, other than probably Houston, that they've seen the athleticism that we have. So, and I think if we keep it up and down, I don't know that they can run.
No.
And they had trouble taking care of the basketball. So Cal, I'm sure, is looking at that. Some press you will probably see. So that's all I got. You know, Woo Pig, have a great week, everyone.
Kevin,
thank you, Kevin.
Appreciate it. Just looking at the Sweet 16 matchups this weekend, I think you can make a case that Arkansas is the second most polarizing. Like Duke and St. John's. St. John's hadn't been to a Sweet 16 since, 99?
Yeah,
going against Duke, who's got what many people consider to be the best player, even though a lot of us think it might be the one here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Michigan State, UConn's another one. But and maybe Michigan, Alabama, you could toss that in there too. But I think you could say Arkansas and Arizona is the second most compelling game on Thursday and Friday. And you alluding to Burries and Bradley and Pete and Acuff and Malik, and maybe you throw in TB and Bill. I mean, there's a lot of NBA guys on this roster that are going to be looked at by a lot of different scouts in San Jose, California this weekend. And as you also think about, like, Peterson goes out this weekend, Debanza goes out this weekend. So Darius still has a chance to continue. And he's not thinking about this individually, I don't think, but he still has a chance to continue to climb up draft boards and selections because he's still playing. Now, Boozer has the same, but I also think that's kind of an interesting tentacle to all this when you think about some of the other outstanding freshmen that are no longer playing because their college basketball season has come to an end.
Yeah, and to Kevin's point, High Point, like he said, that is a very solid basketball team and not the typical mid-major that you would see in the round of 32. I mean, they did have the nice upset against Wisconsin, but that was not a luck game. They went out there and took it to Wisconsin, and you were obviously able to go out there and make those plays in crunch time with your athletes. But I think Kevin's right. That's a good basketball program, and I said it earlier in the show. They'll be back in that position probably for a long time to come because they're probably going to run through their conference. They're going to have a lot more of that endowment now for NIL and all those very, very affluent alumni that come from High Point University, all that furniture money like Tommy taught us. But Ty, when it comes down to it, I think that, what Kevin said is a little bit simple. You got to out-rebound them, and they got to outrun them, and it sounds simple, but what Kevin's trying to get at is, look, there are weaknesses in Arizona's game that your strengths can really, really take advantage of. This has been a team that out in transition all year has been almost uneclipsed by literally everybody. The only team that I think really was able to outrun them in transition at times was Alabama, and they also out-rebounded you in that game as well. So Kevin's right. You got to be big to get in there, and the thing is that I think when I hear him talk about you have to run and you have to out-rebound is, man, I cannot wait till Wednesday when we hear about Nick Pringle's availability, because I know Pringle's not going to be the guy to go out there and, score 15 points. But he is the guy to go out there and grab you 5 rebounds in 10 minutes while ever, Malik needs a little bit of a breather. And he is the guy to go out there and give TB a breather so TB can come from out of nowhere, literally from the rafters, reach up there and slam one down in crunch time as well. So really looking forward to see if they get the full complements of their roster, if Pringle can come in and give those guys some rest so they are able to outrun Arizona and they are able to use the full advantages of their athleticism against the Wildcats. But, man, it's going to be an absolute humdinger on Thursday night. I'm going to have my eyes glued to the TV. I'm going to tell my wife to go into the other room. I'm going to turn the volume down, turn Chuck and Z up, get that thing absolutely synced up, and try my best not to chew off what little fingernails I have left.
They have 2 losses all season by 4 and 3 points. They lost to Kansas. I'm forgetting if it was Houston or Iowa State being the other team. But this is not a team that does have a lot of weaknesses, but those ones you just listed, you've got to continuously hit them. It's like when a boxer gets a cut or an injury, you just keep hitting them there over and over again. And Arkansas hopefully will be able to take advantage of transitions and some various other things Thursday night in the SAP Center in San Jose.
Got to give them that Evan Maya kill shot. Those 10, those 12-point runs where they don't have any answer for you. You got to sweep the leg, man. You got to go in there and do it.
Sweep the leg. All right, we got to hit a break. Hot Take Monday rolls on. We're brought to you this morning by Gaston's White River Resort, 870-431-5202. Go to gastons.com. Check out their Facebook page, photos. They've got videos. They've got various other things on their Facebook page as well as their website. If you haven't experienced it for yourself, Clint, Jacob, the team over there would love to have you. It is an awesome place, especially the weather. My goodness, we had bad weather for what seemed like a while. Now all of a sudden it's flipped the script and it's awesome. 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time. Every time.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive hotline at 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive, where the ultimate challenge is back and 600 vehicles must be sold in March.
I kind of forgot to do media, so I ran upstairs and I was pooping.
This is the Morning Rush.
We've seen it all. Recessions, tornadoes, even a global pandemic. But Hug Chevrolet GMC never closed its doors. We stuck with our community because they stuck with us. And through it all, one thing never changed: our commitment to serve, support, and stay local. Hug Chevrolet GMC, built to last, just like the people we serve.
Taco Bell's Let's Boxes are going to people's heads. Because once they experience the refined $5 bots, opulent $7 bots, and indulgent $9 bots with the new crispy chicken crunch wrap slider, they start expecting everything to be as Lutz.
Home, James.
You know you don't have a chauffeur, right? Don't let the Lutz go to your head. Try Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Lutz boxes today.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Winter's here, and as the temperature drops, energy use can go up. That means so can your bills. At Arkansas Oklahoma Gas, we know managing energy costs isn't always simple, and we're here to help. We offer practical energy-saving tips, convenient payment options, and connections to assistance programs to help you through the season. Whether you're planning ahead or looking for extra support, our team is ready to help you explore your options. Learn more at aogc.com/winter.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
When it's time to stock the bar, fill the cooler, or grab the perfect bottle, stop by River Point Wine and Spirits. You'll love our clean, organized store, full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer at the right price. At River Point, we're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. So come stock up for game night, date night, or the weekend ahead. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits, Grand Avenue and I-540.
Looking for a career with a company built to last? At Forsgren, we've been shaping the future of the River Valley since 1936. Nearly 90 years of excellence, innovation, and family-driven leadership. From sidewalks that still stand today to major infrastructure projects across the region, our legacy is built on quality and community. Apply now at goforsgren.com. Join the Forsgren legacy, where your work becomes part of something lasting. Forsgren, building the foundation of the River Valley for 4 generations. Apply now at goforsgren.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Liv Moss.
I think it's that kid Darius Acuff. We put it in his hands, and I trust him. And the team trusts him.
Going to do the same thing on Thursday when you take on number 1 Arizona. Thursday, 8:45 Central Time. Chuck and Z courtside beginning at 8 o'clock. Hey, with this morning, we are brought to you by J. Pauley Toyota. They got special savings on new vehicles right now in Fort Smith. Sales tax paid on all new Tacomas and Tundra models in stock, plus 0% APR for 72 months and $7,000 in rebates on select models. J. Pauley Toyota, where no payments until May with 0 down with approved credit and all credit applications accepted. Plus certified Toyotas backed by a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. J. Pauley Toyota, exit 11 at I-540 and 0 in Fort Smith. JPauleyToyota.com. In lost in all this, I mean, you kind of just get numb to some of the things Darius has broken this season. Breaks the single-season points record at Arkansas, held by Todd Day. Breaks the single-season assist record, held by Kareem Reed. Passes in the first 2 games, likes of Kevin Durant and other great players as freshmen in their first 2 ever NCAA tournament games. Continues to have success, which leads Arkansas fans to go nuts like this fan did on Saturday night.
Acuff hits that dagger 3, man. I let out a suey. I scared every deer and turkey around for miles. But you know what? I heard some snorting up them hills, and I guarantee you, man, it was wild hogs. Wild hogs!
Hog reaction's been a lot of fun these first NCAA tournament games, and really during the SEC tournament.
Y'all
and
been stealing them all.
Well, and we got it again this Thursday. Zach Arns, myself, Matt Jones going to do it again, and then if Arkansas wins, it's going to be me, Colton, and Matt. Hopefully, we're doing one on Saturday night as well.
Hopefully, it's celebrating a win back to the Elite Eight. Yeah, or hopefully back to the Final Four for the first time on Saturday night and Thursday as well. But man, I know lots of people were excited about that game on Thursday night, and we are very spoiled. It's 5 of the last 6 years. You've been in that second weekend. You've been exactly where this fan base wants to be for our basketball program. It's been great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be a nervous wreck this week, Ty. I'm gonna be thinking of every possible scenario in which how we could lose this game, and I need you to help me be forward thinking. I know you're not going to do it. You've already picked them to lose. You don't care. You're a hater, but I need you to help me.
A hater. I don't. I think Arkansas will cover.
That's right. That's what matters, right? Yeah.
Highly suspect on them winning. But I hope I'm wrong. Again, anytime I pick against Arkansas, I say I hope I'm wrong on that. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Morning Rush. Coming up, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Big C on halftime, followed by Ruskin and Zach. Arkansas baseball takes it to South Carolina this weekend, winning the series. They've got UCA in the building tomorrow at Baum Walker, and then also Florida as well this weekend. Kevin O'Sullivan and company coming in
He
here.
looked dejected.
Yeah,
Did
he
you
did.
see that video?
He
Oh,
did.
man.
He looked pretty sad. So for Colton Little, Tommy's on vacation all week, by the way. I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy halftime and Ruskin and Zach coming up next.
Looking for a fence that stands out and stands strong? Call the Fence Man, 479-782-3936. Serving the Fort Smith area for over 40